Hello, welcome to the Forbes India show on CNBC TV 18. Our guest today is His Excellency Dato Shri Najib Razak, the Prime Minister of Malaysia. Your Excellency, thank you so much for joining us and welcome to India.
Thank you.
You took over at a very difficult time, April 2009, economically. We had experts predicting that the Malaysian economy would contract by 5%, then in October they said it would contract by 3%. What did Malaysia finally end 2009 at?
Well, the final figures have not been unveiled yet.
Okay.
But we expect to be much better than the dire predictions earlier on.
Right.
So I suppose it would be in the region of about 3% negative.
Okay.
But there are good signs that this year we'll be able to be in the positive territory.
Okay. Experts around the world, in fact, I think you predicted in your 10th Malaysia plan a 5.2% growth in 2011-2012. What do you base those predictions on?
Well, we believe that there'll be enough government spending in the country, and consumption will be fairly high. There's enough confidence in terms of attracting foreign direct investment, although may not be as high as the levels that we've been used to. We will certainly do whatever we can in that direction. We will also try to stimulate domestic investment, the private sector. I think we are leaning quite hard in the sense of giving more incentives and encouragement for the private sector to invest in Malaysia locally. And with the expected commodity prices like oil and gas, we don't want it to be too high. Neither do we want it to be too low. As long as it's within the range that will be sustainable. And palm oil prices and rubber prices will be fairly high, we expect, this year. So we are on track to achieve 4% this year. But I'm trying to squeeze a bit more. I want 6%, 5 to 6%.
Okay. So you pumped in about, you and your predecessor pumped in about almost $19 billion as stimulus. So you're not, and we expect that around the world governments will start withdrawing stimulus in the second half of the year. Do you have any idea of timing of withdrawal, or what signals would you be looking for?
Well, when we launched the two stimulus packages, particularly the second one, we said it's going to be spent over a 2-year time frame. So we will not be withdrawing prematurely. We'll continue until the end of this year.
What macro numbers would you be looking at to take any further decision on if you want to put any extra stimulus into the economy?
I think hopefully we won't need to add any additional fiscal stimulus, because we're quite concerned about the fiscal deficit. Because we have multiple objectives. One of which is to bring down our fiscal deficit to in the region of about 5.6%.
It's about 7.8% now.
And then now it's 7.8%. We'll bring it down to about 5.6%. Because beyond 7%, it's not really sustainable.
Do you see the dangers to the world economy? Do you see it coming from a breakdown in the West, or do you see it coming down from maybe a derailing of the Chinese economy?
I think there could be threats emanating from certain quarters. One of which is clearly a danger that we all become very protectionist minded. Suddenly we closed up, and that will be catastrophic for the world economy. I think the key to the recovery, sustainable recovery, is to encourage free trade. That's one. Secondly would be if there's any hidden surprises, collapse here and there that unforeseen, that could impact on the global recovery.
So you in fact you said the world is changing quickly. We must be ready to change with it or risk being left behind. Because the response of Malaysia to the last crisis was you became insular. You stopped investments coming in almost. So would you say in retrospect that was not quite the right move to do?
Well, I'd like to correct that. It was not. We didn't stop.
You put currency.
It was it was because it was intended to not to discourage productive investment. It was to deter speculation. And that was the objective of that move. And once the economy has stabilized, then we remove the capital controls. So there are no capital controls in Malaysia today. So we're very much, on the contrary, Malaysia is very much an open trading global economy.
some people say that you've made great noises on reforms, you've announced great moves, but there is opposition to you within your party and within the system in Malaysia. The former Prime Minister says that Malaysia should be looking inward at its inward market. How difficult was it to push through reforms like the new ownership laws which allow foreigners to hold more in Malaysia?
Well, first of all, I'd like to make this point that we are quite an open democratic society. So, we encourage views.
Of course.
I mean, very much like in India, okay?
Yes.
You have views from all quarters. But at the end of the day, we try to arrive at a consensus. And once we achieve a national consensus, then we move forward. The party elections that we held there last year gave me a very a resounding mandate. And I have the backing of the party to make the reforms, to make the changes, and to move forward. Of course, there might be some disquiet in certain quarters. As you know, when you make changes, there'll be winners and losers, obviously.
Okay.
But change is necessary.
The Financial Times says that your move for reform has provoked skepticism about how far Najib is willing to go in his reforms. How far are you willing to go, and how far do you think you need to go?
Well, obviously, I have to go. I will go as far as necessary, really, to achieve the national objectives. At the same time, it being a democracy, parliamentary democracy, you need the support of the people. The people must be with you. People must understand where you're leading them towards, and you need to keep a continual check on what's happening with the ground, so to speak. But I'm confident that the changes will continue, the reforms will continue, which is very much work in progress. But bearing in mind, I've just taken over, a period of just
since April,
8 months. Give us time, and we will deliver.
Okay. Well, while you have certainly set rest the mind of foreign investors by removing the caps on foreign investment, one of the worries is that Malaysia is becoming a less tolerant society, and that's manifested by the attacks on the churches and gurudwaras. What can you say to reassure investors in the country?
Malaysia has not changed. In any society, there are extremists. There are extremists in the West. There are extremists anywhere in the world. We just have to manage the extremists in the sense that we have to deal with them. If they cross the line, the full brunt of the law will take its course. The challenge is to bring people to the middle, and I believe we can do that. The vast majority of Malaysians, whether they're Muslims or non-Muslims, basically want this harmonious relations between the various ethnic groups, religious groups, to continue as a strong pillar of the Malaysian way of life.
Excellency, we need to take a break at this point. We'll come back after the very, very short break and continue this conversation with the Prime Minister of Malaysia.